Look at this beauty fly. Full throttle, pure perfection.
5 left long, don't cut.
The Lancia Stratos. Angry, fast, untamed. And me, a professional. 7 seconds into the video. Yep, maybe not a professional. We'll call it style points. Definitely not a professional. This is what happens when you push a Stratos too hard. And if you're exploding your car on every corner in Assetto Corsa Rally, this video is for you. All right, today's episode is a very special one. Instead of reviewing someone else's gear, I'll discuss my own LED unit in detail and show how I use SimHub telemetry settings to tame one of the wildest rally cars ever made. I'm facing a monster, a car that was never designed to be gentle. Too much power, too little forgiveness. All of that chaos, compressed into a thin shell of metal, barely holding back what's hiding underneath. My mission is simple: to bring order to the madness. I'm mounting this LED matrix right in the center, where instinct takes over, where information becomes reflex. Will it help me unlock the flow, tame the horsepower, and survive the stage? Or will this machine remind me, once again, who's really in control? Before we dive into the tech, I want to quickly explain why this thing exists at all. If you're into sim racing, you already know how insanely practical a 64 LED matrix is. Gear display, flags, proximity warnings. Once you use one, you don't want to race without it. For the last 8 months, I've been racing with an early prototype, and I already know how useful this kind of device can be. Assetto Corsa Rally has a steep learning curve. Today, I'm driving a rear-wheel drive beast, a car that behaves like it's constantly trying to escape its cage every time I touch the throttle. If you rush it, the car pushes back. It demands precision, patience, and respect. So this episode isn't about magic upgrades or instant lap time miracles. It's about using information wisely, learning, adapting, and slowly building confidence. I'll show you how I use this LED unit to level up my driving, finding flow, building rhythm, and dialing in consistency and timing. Not just in rally, but across all disciplines, from loose gravel to GT racing. This is either the moment where everything finally clicks, or a spectacular failure again. Either way, it's going to be entertaining. So if you're still at the 3D printed accessory stage, fighting for grip, flow, and timing, and starting to wonder what's next, what a properly engineered premium solution could look like, this episode is for you. Because what we've built here is no longer a prototype. You can actually pre-order one today. This is episode 5 of the series, where creativity meets design, and epic Assetto Corsa Rally shenanigans involving this unit are pretty much guaranteed. If you made it this far, despite all the crashes, you probably enjoy sim racing done a little differently. Smash like, subscribe, and stay strapped in. More chaos is coming. As my sim racing setup got better and better, all the 3D printed stuff mounted to my rig started to feel like the weak link. So I did what everyone does first. I went shopping, and wow, a 3D printed box for 70 euros? Please. At that point, you're honestly better off buying a cheap 3D printer and 5 kilos of filament. At least you'll get a hobby out of it. Then there's always a classic option. Densu flags. 129 euros. Practical, made of metal, No nonsense. But I was chasing something else. A piece of hardware that feels crafted, not just assembled. Something I'd actually enjoy looking at every day on my rig. And that's when I realized, if it doesn't exist, you build it. So I called my friend Chris. He's a creative like me, so we had a very simple conversation. If we're going to build something, it has to be freaking awesome. At its core, yes, it's a data display. But this isn't just about information. This is over-engineered eye candy. A piece designed to dress your sim racing rig in something bold, premium, and impossible to ignore. If we're spending hundreds of hours in a rig worth thousands of dollars, nice isn't enough. It should look spectacular. Genuinely different, well-built, and brave enough to survive today's Stratos abuse. So let's talk build quality, because this is where I went completely overboard, and I regret absolutely nothing. The main body is machined from aerospace-grade aluminum, the kind of material you'd expect in aircraft parts, not sim racing accessories. It's machined from a single block of aluminum, with industry-leading tolerances up to 0.05 millimeters. After machining, the body is bead blasted to get that smooth, premium texture, and then anodized. That makes the surface harder, more scratch-resistant, and basically immune to years of abuse on a sim rig. Oh, and before I forget, dark stealth mode or space gray? Which one would you run on your rig? Drop your vote in the comments. This one's on you. This thing is built like a tank. And yes, you will feel the weight when you pick it up. 153 grams is not plastic toy territory anymore. The front and back panels are made from tough polycarbonate, CNC machined and then vapor polished to achieve 100% glass-like transparency. They won't yellow from UV light, they won't crack over time, and they'll still look good years from now. Inside, we've got a custom-designed PCB. Let's race, because why not? I genuinely believe if you're going to build something, it should look beautiful on the inside too. Our PCB isn't just functional. It plays a vital role in the design and overall feel of the product. It's the thickest board you'll find. 1.6 millimeter, a tough little shell sitting right behind the glass. I'll let you in on a little secret. This device wasn't created just to exist on its own. It allowed us to test materials and manufacturing methods to choose quality over shortcuts. It was created to support the development of what comes next. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the price. It's 129 euros. Some people will say, damn, well, that's steep. And honestly, I get it. But this isn't a 3D printed box. And it's not mass-produced plastic. Limited units, no investors, no corporate nonsense. You're not just buying a product. You're supporting two designers pushing back against copy-paste sim racing gear. If this resonates with you and feels like your kind of hardware, thanks. It keeps our ideas moving forward. Want one on your rig? Hit the link below and welcome to the club. Rally history is packed with madness, and this is one of its finest moments, the Lancia Stratos. This car wasn't built to be sensible. It was built to win. In the early 1970s, the Italians did what they do best. They ignored common sense and went all in. They built a rally weapon first, worried about rules and paperwork later. Extremely short, absurdly wide. And the engine? Lancia didn't even bother building one. They went straight to Ferrari and asked if they could borrow their 2.4-liter Dino V6. Ferrari said yes, so Lancia dropped it right behind the driver's seat, bolted on carburetors that made it roar like a T-Rex, and unleashed it onto rally stages just to see what would happen. 280 horsepower, 940 kilograms. The result? It was monstrously fast, nervous, wildly unstable. It didn't drive, it attacked, like a shark in a blood frenzy. It was terrifying. The Stratos dominated rallying. 3 World Rally Championships in a row. Asphalt, gravel, snow. It won everything, while constantly trying to kill its driver. And today, I'm taking it onto a tarmac stage. If you watched the previous episode, you already know. I didn't exactly dominate Assetto Corsa Rally. In fact, I ended up in a ditch before I even reached the first corner. Armed with a few cheap accessories, I managed to stop embarrassing myself on gravel. That went well. So now I'm raising the bar, dramatically. Let's start with the default settings. No leash, no excuses. Let's see what kind of animal this is.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go, 4 right.
First challenge, the start. Total chaos, disobedient, reckless, completely unbridled. Okay, this one is mental. Seriously, it should be wearing a straitjacket. Sleeves tied together at the back. 2 spins in 15 seconds. I'm starting to see a pattern here. That's not rallying. That's a statistical anomaly. We need a strategy for this one.
And 5 right,
Driving straight,
200.
easy. Pedal to the metal. I can do that. But once you pick up speed, and trust me, it picks up speed fast, you eventually have to do the unthinkable. Brake. And here comes problem number 2. See that? That's the universal sign that you're screwed. Wheels locked. Braking efficiency of ice skates. Absolutely zero control. This isn't braking. This is just hoping. This car is absolutely bonkers. I will use the telemetry to lower the bar a little, so my brain has time to catch up with what the car is doing. All right, time to mess around with the SimHub settings. Less ego, more data. The Stratos is extremely tail-happy. It becomes dramatically unstable at higher RPMs. It throws the rear out before you even realize it. This car never had traction control. But I have an idea. I'm lowering the RPM redline threshold and scaling the shift light indicator at the same time. That way, the LEDs warn me before the engine hits the danger zone, not after. Right before the car gets angry. A digital leash for a mechanical animal. A visual cue that keeps the revs in a safer window so I can stay smooth on the throttle instead of fighting wheel spin. Every car is different, so the numbers will vary. You're hunting for the sweet spot, somewhere between a 70s disco spin and Grandpa's Saturday grocery run. Now let's deal with wheel lock. ABS? The Stratos never had it, but Assetto Corsa Rally does, and I'm going to use it strategically. I turn ABS on in the game menu and set it to level 1. That way, the wheels can still lock completely, and I get a clear ABS signal. From there, I create a custom LED layout and choose a dedicated wheel lock color. The moment the wheels lock, I get instant visual feedback, so I know exactly when to ease off the brakes. All right, new settings are loaded. The gear change lights now flash at much lower RPMs, so I know exactly where the risk is and when to shift, staying in control and shifting earlier without triggering the whole wheel slip chaos all over again. Basically, the LEDs are my visual co-pilot. I don't have to look down. I already know the colors and patterns. They all register instantly in my peripheral vision. I just need to react.
5, 4.
I'll be honest,
3.
I have
2,
no idea what's about to
1.
happen.
Go, go. 4 right. Into 3 left tightens.
Starting off, it's still a wild beast, but now I can feel the rhythm, the pulse, the limits.
Don't cut. And 3 right, very long. Opens and tightens late. 50, 5 left. And 5 right, 200.
Pedal to the metal, but guided by a little flashing light therapy. I keep my foot down and pray there's still some stability and traction left in this angry car. And there it is. Wheels locking. I lift off, feather the brakes, and somehow, Stratos listens.
300.
For a split second, it feels like control. Shift lights flashing, rear trying to escape. But I'm working with it now, not against it.
And 6 right.
This is what these new settings are for. Learning the car, respecting the chaos, and slowly turning insanity into rhythm. Now I can literally adjust the madness threshold in SimHub with a slider. It turns learning into muscle memory. I'm basically being trained like a monkey by that red light. But it works. The red warning light quickly becomes instinct. Shift, lift, or commit. Okay, this is starting to feel manageable. And once it feels manageable, it's time to raise the bar just a bit and fight back like a grown-up. That's what I'm doing now. Adding speed, adding pressure, fighting the car instead of surviving it. You don't rush it, you don't brute force it. You embrace the process, one adjustment at a time, until chaos turns into confidence. No hero moves yet. Try not to upset the beast.
And 5 right, 200.
2 hours of practice.
5 left
Something
long, don't
finally
cut, 40.
clicks.
4 left,
I'm no longer
long,
fighting the
100.
Stratos. We're having a very intense conversation. I can push it on the straights, muscle memory kicks in, and I finally know the difference between, yes, do that again, and touch the throttle again and I will end your career. So I'm dialing things in again. RPM redline goes back to default. I don't need to be blinked to death anymore. I know where the engine lives now. Wheel lock indicators still on. Gotta train my muscles to brake like a pro. Burn those moves into memory. I tried playing around with traction control. Basically like braking, but exactly the opposite. Had to turn it off though. Early access AC Rally kills the engine even on level 1.
Caution, hairpin left.
Anyone else tried it? Drop a comment. This feels like a solid setup to start chasing proper times with this little angry Lancia. That's not luck, that's data. I think it respects me now. More awareness, better timing, smoother flow. Simple, clear, mildly terrifying. Some things never change. It's still trying to kill me. I've just learned how to argue with it more politely. Sexy design, smart telemetry, and a bit of stubbornness. Combine that, and even a wild Stratos starts listening. It's more than just a gadget. It's a tool to learn, adapt, and push your limits. And after today, it helped me find something very rare behind the wheel. Pure zen, perfect flow, and absolute control. It's based on Arduino architecture, which makes it incredibly easy to program and use, even outside the SimHub ecosystem. Racing flags, proximity alerts, traction control. This thing is packed. I'm still diving into custom SimHub scripts, and when I find something crazy, I'll let you know. Explosions and laughs guaranteed, as always. This is what happens when you take two designers, lock them in a room with sim racing gear, and tell them to build something they actually want to use. We take ideas and turn them into sim racing designer toys. because good enough was never really our thing. If you're into unique, exceptional, slightly insane sim racing gear, we've got a YouTube channel now, and we're going to use it. Welcome to the Rad Series.